I'm a strong believer that most of us should have a personal brand. And a personal brand is not just about us selling something, but it is also about us kind of writing our own stories. Not all of us are going to be as successful that we'll have biographies written after us. So this is our way of putting our own biographies across. And internet has given us such a wonderful opportunity in terms of booking a small real estate for us. And this is my real estate, and I'm going to walk you through my thought process as a product manager, how I decided to go about building my personal website. And the goal of this video is just to take you through the thought process that went behind building this website, and maybe also talk about some of the future plans that I have with this. So let's get started. What you see on the screen is a pretty simple, minimalist website or a landing page. And there are a couple of elements here that I want to talk about. So the very first thing that I wanted to do was to make my website dark theme. White hurts my eyes. But I also understand that a lot of my users might want to look at it, with the white background or the light background. This is where the very first thing that I started working on was a theme toggler. This gave me a lot of insights around how CSS, how you can actually work with a lot of variables so that I don't have to really go ahead and create two explore buttons, but rather just create two different color themes and then just toggle them when I'm toggling to a different theme. The other thing that I wanted was to just add a couple of my social links. I did not want them to be top right and center at the center. I just wanted them to be present, just to be out of sight, but still available. And then when I started building this project, the goal was not to build everything out in one go. I did not have a wireframe in mind. I did not have a whole roadmap of my personal website. I wanted to take it slow, break it down, because all the time that I had to build this were the weekends. And knowing me, when I get into something, I'm gonna spend a lot of time into doing that. So I wanted to time box my efforts and thus only bite what I can chew. So I took things very small, and the very first thing that I developed was this landing page. Of course, I wanted to play with some animations. I found some open source animation. For example, what you see this is just a loading, an animation that I got. This I built from scratch. This is just hello in different languages. I wanted to keep it very, very simple. The other element that I thought would add a lot of impact, and I felt like I really want to add some credibility to who I am and what I do. And this is where, if you see, I added a small little banner, which is the companies that I worked with in the past. And we're going to go deeper into all of that when we go to the next section. One thing that was bugging me, should I have all of the information as soon as you get to my website, or should I put that behind a click? The product manager in me was continuously debating this. But then I thought about who is the user of my website, or what's the persona that's going to be looking at my website. I'm not dealing with social media junkies or doom scrollers who have very little attention. So I'm dealing with people who are here for a purpose. And I did a lot of math in my head in terms of really segmenting the users, and I could identify there would be primarily 3 different personas that will be visiting my website. One of them could be recruiters or hiring managers who are trying to find more about me. Then there would be people, my peers, who want to learn about AI and product management. And then finally, there would be just people in my network who want to connect with me and have landed to my website through some blog, some SEO. So I think the last people who are not coming here for any kind of an intent might drop out without clicking the explore button. Or there are other ways of also targeting or making them click the explore button. So now we're going to talk about 2 philosophies. One is high intent users and the other is the low intent users. For high intent users, this click is not a problem because they are happy to go through a couple of clicks, a couple of swipes to get to that. Of course, I don't want to put a lot of clicks, a lot of, how should I put it? Too many friction points in front of them. So they just drop off. But I'm more than happy to give them or just to test their intent a bit, so to say. So we're going to now move on to the next section, which is the explore section. And this is the fun part. So I took about a weekend to just put this thing together, just thinking about my color schemes, thinking about the design idea, the typography. I wanted to keep everything single font family, but I wanted to play mostly on the sizes, the line spacing, etc. So I read about typography a lot to do that. So let's go into the explore page. The very first thing that I want to kind of highlight is how this is more reminiscent of what a B2B website would look like. And this was the theme that I was going for. I looked at a lot of traditional portfolio website and they start with, "Hi, I'm so and so, I do so and so, and they just go get into their portfolios or some blogs. That led me to this whole, rabbit hole of thought process, that do people actually look at all of those portfolio projects? I don't know. How often am I going to keep on updating that portfolio project? I don't know. How often am I going to keep writing new blogs? I don't know. If I go that traditional route of creating an about me section and just portfolios and blogs, etc., I would eventually land into a problem of running behind that, or running in that content hamster wheel, so per to say, that I will keep on churning new content. The other was I wanted to break that mold. So I, for one, I'm a B2B product manager. My last 7 years of product management have been with B2B companies. I've built large scale products. And thus I wanted to keep the niche very separate, very focused. And this is where I researched a lot. I looked at a lot of B2B websites and how they do it. And this is the traditional hero section that I looked at. The couple of things that I am following here, or I'm trying to do, I don't know if that's working or not, but I'm going to talk about certain subtle visual cues that I've put in place. So for example, the very first thing that you see, 12 plus years of experience, 1x entrepreneur, these are all social proofs. And this is the big hero headline. Finally, I have just 2 quick buttons: explore work and learn about me. Explore work will take you to my LinkedIn, and where I post a lot of content, etc., and you'll get a hang of it. The visual cue here is, if you'll see, there is a smooth flow of everything going towards that explore work button. And this I found from some very smart YouTuber who told me how the goal of this page is to get as much people to click on your CT as possible. And this is where even the image on the right, you'll see it's looking at this button is going down here. So there's a whole hierarchy of information flowing towards that explore work. This is what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to keep it, again, very simple, very minimalistic. So let's get to the next fold. The next fold is the trusted by section. This is where I actually wanted to play with that logos. And again, these are just the 5 brands that I worked with. And I just wanted to keep them for recall, and just to also pay some homage to all of the people that have trusted me and have allowed me to be who I am and train me. There are some future plans around what I want to do with that section. Probably something around, if you hover on FARA, you'll probably get to see my journey within FARA or INOS or similarly. And again, this is again B2B inspired. And if you see, B2B companies will have a banner of clients that they work with. Now, this is more around setting some credibility. So yeah, mostly about that. Now let's go into the next section, which was earlier the areas of expertise or career highlight section. So this is what I've been playing up. I wanted to do something with the Pinto grid style. I was not sure how it's going to work. And so I tried a lot of things, and this is finally what I landed with. I've worked a lot on making it responsive. This section taught me a lot about playing with boxes, playing with grids, and also playing with SVGs. All of the assets that I'm using are Creative Commons, which means they're free to use for personal use. I'm not selling them, I'm not reselling them, anything like that. So I downloaded SVGs for most of them, and what I learned was how do I actually change some of the colors that they have. So for example, if you look, when I turn to my light mode, some of these colors also change, which actually took me a lot of time to figure out within that SVG. What's that fill value that I need to change? A lot of learning here just to even get this image out and have it overwrite this. So let me see if I can show you this. So I'm going to this is kind of what you'll see in the web version of it. So if you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 6 boxes here, rather 7. When you zoom in, you'll see there are a couple more here. I know that a lot of my users are going to be coming from mobile. This is where I wanted my website to, if not be mobile first, be mobile friendly, which means I'm not making them feel painful even just trying to use that website. So this was that. Finally, just to wrap everything up, I just wanted to have a quick about me personal section. I did not want to go overboard and telling, hey, I'm the best in the world, etc. But I wanted to keep it a bit personal. And this is where I'm talking about my family, I'm talking about who I am and what drives me. Overall, these are just the 4 sections that are in my website. Very simple, very straightforward. And I wanted to build this just to block my own real estate on the internet. And if you'll see the thought process that went behind all of that. The goal is to keep on building on this and keep on expanding my website further, adding more sections, probably adding a content section, eventually adding some LLM powered stuff here, just to play with it, make it my own. And while doing it, maybe also documenting and showing all of the thought process that goes behind. Being a product manager, I need to do a good job in managing myself as a product. So this is what I really wanted to showcase. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, happy to help. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much.